Hey guys, I know it's been a little bit since my latest Vigor video, but the news on it's just been a little slow, and it just so happens that there's been a lot of PUBG news coming out, so I haven't really had time to go through and inform you guys of the latest information, and quite honestly, there just wasn't that much to go around. But the devs over at Bohemia held a stream yesterday, and they revealed some interesting information, so I wanted to share that with you, and kind of give you an overall update on the game's progress and where it sits. So first and foremost, a big problem with the game right now is the knife meta. So basically you can run around with a knife and just get as close as you can to someone and just stab away, and then they really have a hard time shooting you. I think actually it's impossible to shoot people if they're that close to you. So you kind of have to run away from somebody with a knife that's coming at you, which in reality doesn't really make sense. If you have a gun and someone has a knife, you should just be able to mow them down if they're running towards you. But with the aiming system in this game needing a little bit of work, and the fact that if they get too close to you, you're actually unable to shoot them properly, the knife definitely needed some rebalancing, and it looks like they're going to be doing that with the next patch. So the knife damage is being rebalanced, it's not going to hit as hard, and they're also working on getting the gunplay better so that we're able to defend ourselves a little bit more appropriately. So one thing they're adding in the future that will help combat against the knife play is a pushing mechanic. So if someone's close to you, like right on you, you can actually shove with your gun, and that will shove the player away and they'll be staggered, and then you can shoot them while they're staggered. This is a really good mechanic to add to the game, especially with the knife meta that's going on right now. It'll really discourage people from just running around with knives and not even worrying about, having a gun equipped or anything like that. So I think that this is a good mechanic to add. If someone's too close to you, you can, I imagine you'll just push the right trigger, which would be like shooting, but you'll end up shoving the player and they'll be staggered for a brief time, in which case you can take advantage and take them out. I think they're also going to increase the spread of shotguns. They're going to make the tsunami more accurate, and if you don't know, that's the Tommy gun type weapon in the game. They're going to make it more accurate, but that gun being an SMG doesn't hit as hard as an AR, so making it a little bit more accurate will kind of help balance things out. They're also planning on adding some more bullet penetration to wood objects such as doors, so if you notice someone right behind the door, you can actually shoot through the door and you should be able to hit them. You can shoot doors to take out cover, much like you would do in PUBG. Just a little addition to the game to kind of enhance the realism. They also mentioned a lot of things that they're working on that's going to be in maybe the next big update or in the one after that. Now we'll have some smaller updates along the way, such as weapon balancing and just some other bug fixes and quality of life fixes. But some of these things are going to be added in the first major update for Vigor, as we haven't had a big major patch yet that added a lot of content or changed a lot of things. And if you saw the dev stream yesterday, you might know what I'm talking about, but let me go ahead and go through it. So they mentioned a down but not out state. So kind of like in PUBG, if you're playing teams, if you get shot, you go down before you're finished off and then you're finally killed. In Vigor, that's even going to happen in the solo queue. So if you get shot enough to where it would normally kill you now, you'd actually be in a down state. Now when you're in that down state, they said that you'd be able to be looted, so someone will be able to come over to you, loot your body, and then it's up to them if they want to leave you alive so that you can kind of revive yourself and then escape the map or keep looting, something like that. That's definitely their choice, or they could just finish you off and put you out of your misery. So that's going to make it kind of interesting. I think it's a really cool idea. I don't think there's anything really like that in games that I know of anyway. If you do go down, the players can't get your loot in any other game that I've played, and they can't basically just pickpocket you while you're down but not out. I think that's a pretty cool idea. It's pretty unique, and it's going to make for some interesting times, especially if we get some proximity chat and you get down and a player has a chance to finish you off, but you just tell them, hey, let me go, you can have all my stuff, just leave me be, I'll just head a different direction, I won't even bother you. And you can see if they spare your life or if they just decide to finish you off. I guess either way, for the down player, it doesn't matter that much because you've then lost probably most of your stuff to that player anyway, because they've come over and looted you. If you get killed, then you'll just end up at your shelter. But if they leave you, you have a chance to still go out into the wild and try and scavenge for as much as you possibly can and escape the map. So I think it's going to create an interesting dynamic between players. We'll kind of see just how dark humanity can actually be with this type of mechanic in the game. Another one is scoped weapons, and a lot of people have been asking about this. A lot of people have been requesting it, and we all know by now, hopefully, that you won't find scopes in the wild that you can actually attach to weapons. You'll find weapons that have scopes pre-equipped to them. So it'll be a different kind of rarity system of the weapons, And if you have a scope on it, obviously that will be more valuable, and it will be way easier to use and way more accurate. So hopefully for the next big update, we have scoped weapons and new sniper rifles, and they also mention tracers on bullets, so you can kind of tell the trajectory of your shot and see where it's landing, and then get an idea of where you need to aim next. They mentioned that there's going to be 4x scopes and 6x scopes on the weapons, and we'll have to find those out in the wild and then hopefully deconstruct them enough times to craft them. They also mentioned that a duos mode or a pair mode that they said is actually a work in progress, so hopefully we get this in the next major update, if not in the second one after that. I would love to get the teaming aspect out of the game, and I think adding a duo mode is going to help that quite a bit. There's still going to be some people that just cheese the queues just to take advantage of people, and you can't really avoid that. But adding a co-op mode will get most of the teaming out of the game, most of the unfair teaming anyway, and it'll kind of make the game more fun and more fair for a lot of people that just want to play by themselves. They mentioned an overhaul to the shelter, both cosmetically and with a little bit of the functionality. There's going to be some new places to kind of look at and just make it a little bit better looking overall, as well as some new cosmetic items. So there's going to be more things to customize on your character, including face wear, and they show some screenshots on the live stream, so I'll go ahead and share those with you here. But you can kind of see all the different customization options that we'll have, and it will just make it a little bit more unique, and I think just make the experience better overall. And like I said before, they also want to include a rarity type system with our weapons and with our items, and different camos and sprays, it looks like, just based off of the screenshots. Now you'll know when you find a couple weapons which one is the most rare item, which one is probably the one that you should probably keep, because it's one that you won't find as often. So this will kind of help us. Everything just won't look like a dull white item. It'll have some kind of color to it, or it'll have more detail, where you'll be able to decide which one is actually best to keep. And this is all included in the UI overhaul, and everything looks a lot cleaner, a lot more modern in the screenshots that they showed us, so I can't wait for that big update to come, because I think it's going to really improve the game, and I think it's going to make it a more solid, more full game. They also mentioned some graphical improvements on the map, so filling out the world a little bit more, especially inside buildings, making it look a little bit more dark and a little bit more worn. Since this is post-war Norway, it'll make it look more like a war actually happened. Now obviously the stability of the game and the gunplay are two of the more important aspects of the game that need to be improved, and they're definitely working on that, and they're looking to get that fixed as soon as possible. And I think this is something that's just going to have to continuously be worked on, kind of like we see in PUBG. Not everything is just going to be fixed straight away. There's going to be problems, and it's a game preview title, so we just have to stay along for the ride, give our feedback, and then hope for the best. And then eventually when the game is released in February of 2019, it should be in its best form, and we'll have a lot more to show for than what we have today. And last but not least, they were asked about the female characters in the game again, and they said that not in this next update, but hopefully in the one after that, the big update after this next one that they're planning. They hope to have the female characters ready to go, and I believe they hinted that on the next dev stream in a couple weeks they're going to preview that and kind of show us what they have as a kind of work in progress. So be interested to see that, and I'll definitely keep you guys up to date. But that's basically it for the dev stream update. They didn't really give us an ETA on the big update at this point, but I imagine it's at least a couple weeks away. But in the meantime, we'll have some smaller updates to enhance the game, improve the quality of life, and fix some bugs. But it's going to be at least a couple weeks until we get that big update, if not a month. Hopefully the game is still a good time for you. It's very tense for me every time I play it. It just makes me really nervous, kind of like when I play PUBG on solo mode, and you kind of have to be in a certain mood to play the game. But once we get teams in there, I think it's going to make it a little bit easier to play, and it's going to include more people, and more people are going to be inclined to get in there, try out the game, and have some fun. But let me know what you guys think. What are you most excited about from what I mentioned here from the dev stream? I think for me, the new mechanics such as the shove mechanic and the knockdown, the down but not out mechanic, I think that's pretty cool. It's pretty unique for a game like this, so I think they're making strides and they're adding some cool things, and I just have high hopes for this game in the future. So hopefully you guys are still enjoying and you're still interested in this content. But make sure to like the video if you did find it useful, and subscribe to stay up to date on everything Vigor for Xbox One. But with that being said, I hope you guys have a good rest of your day. Until next time, I'll see you later.